finish so that you could actually start attacking your essay Monday. We'll see. I will not be taking much of your time today so that you can maybe finish some Kias.
I'm confused.
He knows. Or work on your Blue Book essays, fine tune them, get them ready to rock and roll. Yes, dear.
So are the Kias this week going to be due on Thursday, Friday? Or is it going to be
What
due
did I
actual
say?
Friday?
That's right. I said they're due Friday, which is Thursday.
Because our Friday schedule is on.
Friday's schedule is now Thursday, so they're due Friday.
Can you just tell us it's due Thursday?
It's due Thursday,
There you go.
which is tomorrow. 2 Kias due tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What? Huh?
When we walk.
When we walk in class. Yes, that's right. The moment you walk in class, they are due. None of this midnight crap that I never said that some of you claim I said. And maybe I did say, but I didn't. Nothing to write here. Kind of a cute map. I just kind of like it.
Here be dragons.
Here be dragons. Is my screen not a touch screen? I'll just let you feast your eyes on this for a little while because it's fun.
Europe. Should be writing
Europe.
Cigars.
I think that's my favorite. Here be something else. There's something there.
Is that Australia?
Smelly people with big hats.
Where does Santa live?
Should have done it.
Oh, there.
Should have done it upside over. Because that's really Tommy's everywhere.
And then, I don't know how many of you have ever seen this, but remember I was trying to explain to you the whole idea of rules of warfare, that the Europeans fought under rules, and they were offended when the Americans did not cooperate and fight by those same rules. And just like today, the American military operates under rules. You can't torture, you can't use weapons of mass destruction, whether they be biological or chemical or even nuclear. Even though we're the only country that has ever used nuclear weapons in an actual war, treaties that have been signed since then have basically said you can't do that. And so you might be wondering, well, then why do we own any? Just in case, right? Just in case, exactly. We don't saw off heads. Those are rules. You can't use mustard gas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, at the time of the Revolutionary War, there were rules about how you fight. You fight in open fields. You line up in straight lines. When the person in front of you falls, you take his place. You march straight at the enemy in packs because they shot marbles back then, and marbles are inaccurate. How am I supposed to shoot you unless you're in a group? And that made sense back then. They were like, that's a good point. Let's pack together. And have you played paintball? Right? I mean, you got the guy. He's dead. Your bullet's over there now because spin, right? Later on, American Civil War is when they invented bullets that, right? He throws it and it's spinny. Go further. That was later. American Revolution, they shot marbles. Very inaccurate. Right. So to demonstrate, I have what's called a polite war. It's have no fear. Ye shall not stop me, YouTube.
Remember that duck video you showed us?
What I show you?
The duck video.
I showed you a duck video.
Of some guy that kept putting rubber ducks everywhere.
I showed you a video of a guy putting rubber ducks everywhere.
Yeah, and she's like, and his wife was like, I'm sick of these rubber ducks. And we have like one more, so he thinks it's huge.
Oh, that one was funny.
I forgot that one. That was good. Yes.
YouTube.
Oh.
Polite war.
Well, your caps lock.
Yes.
Caps.
Have any of you seen this?
I have. I'm pretty sure they showed this.
I don't hear anything. Tell me why.
Turn it off.
Oh, because this isn't on.
That's probably why.
The American Army, let's look sharp. All right, men. Here comes the American Army, let's look sharp. Remember, the first impression is the lasting impression. My God. They haven't even got proper uniforms on. All right, okay, all right. No guffawing, no guffawing, no guffawing. Whew, here we go. I said hello there. Yes, hello. You are the American Army, I presume. Very good. Yes, I am Commander Livingston of His Majesty's Royal Military, and we are here to do battle. Although, I do believe that we did agree upon noon. Is that correct? But it's not a problem. It's all right. It's just in the future when you say you're going to be someplace and everything. Okay, very good, very good. Shall we have at it then? All right, would you like to take a few moments to get ready? You're ready now. They're ready now.
It's probably a formation there.
All right. No guffawing. I said this. Okay, very good. Very well, since we are the assaulting army, you have the privilege of taking the first volley, right? And then we shall return, and so on and so forth. So, Godspeed, let's have a good one, and good luck to you. All right, men. Now, let's show them what we Brits are made of. Stand your ground. Oh! You got one! Good shot! Very good shot, actually. That was Timothy. He's our maps and navigations expert. We'll be in a pinch without him. Good form. All right? Now it's our turn to take the volley. So, all right, men. Let's get ready. Muskets at the ready. And do me a favor. Let's have a little fun with this. Try and pick the one you think might be their maps and navigations expert, right? Right. Hey, no, you've had your turn. You've just taken 2 volleys and we haven't even had one. Now, I know that for a lot of you Americans, this is your first parlay, but there are rules in modern warfare. We're not dumb beasts, right? Now, since you've taken 2 volleys, we will take 2 volleys, and then you may return fire. You're in effect losing a turn, right? Hi! Now you know the rules. I've just explained them to you. This battle's barely even started yet, and I'm down to only a handful of men. You're doing very poorly in this war, I might say. Now, we will take 3 volleys, and I do believe we should be allowed the privilege to move forward 5 meters because of your willful violation. Oh! Who took a shot at the CO? You took a shot at the... Reprimand that man! Reprimand that man! I will file a very important...
Okay.
No guffawing.
Not quite to that extent, but you get the idea. That there were rules, the Americans did not obey them, and that offended the British. For example, Battle of Lexington and Concord. The British stayed on the road while the Americans were hiding in the trees. Hit and run. And the British were annoyed with the Americans. Why are you running and hiding? You can't do that. Right? Okay. And now some real notes. Who knows any words to the Declaration of Independence?
We the people.
No, that's the preamble to the Constitution.
Life
There. Part of it is when Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the thing, identified 3 human rights, 3 inalienable rights. You have all sorts of rights. You have inalienable rights. You have human rights. You have constitutional rights. You have Miranda rights. Most of you hopefully will never enjoy the Miranda rights. Those are the rights you have when you get arrested. Okay. How do you know? Okay. Basically, the Declaration is divided into 3 parts. It's much more eloquently stated than what I'm about to present to you, but it's basically a logical argument. Part 1, feudalism is dumb. Feudalism is the idea that the leaders are the leaders because God wills it. God identifies his pope. The pope identifies his king. The king identifies his lords. The lord identifies his knights. That's wrong. You are not not the king because the Pope crowned you. You are the king because we gave you our consent. You're the king not because the Pope crowned you, but because we crowned you. It is not a top-down model. It is a bottom-up model. We named you. And guess what we can do if we named you? We can unname you. Exactly. Very good. So part one, feudalism is wrong. You're the leader because we said so. Part two, if you suck as a ruler, we have the right to choose a new ruler. Now, again, Jefferson said this much more eloquently. He had words like pish-posh and thou and art, big words, English words, real English words. The word sucky is not in the Declaration. Tell you what, though, if you're bored one day, try reading that thing. Read the entire Declaration. You'll have a headache. And try reading it in the original penmanship of Thomas Jefferson, who was an amazing writer. Penmanship was a thing back then. It's too small, right? You can't read it. It's in the National Archives. Any of you been to Washington, D.C. and actually seen the thing? The actual Declaration? You have, okay. Anyway, it's a very logical argument. You're our leader because we said so. If you suck, we have the right to fire you. Guess what part 3 is? You're our leader because we said so. If you suck, we're going to fire you. We're going to fire you because you suck. Right? Now what Jefferson does, is basically said, here's why the king is a sucky ruler. And he says things like, they tax us without us being represented. They impose taxes on things that we cannot avoid, the Stamp Act. They burned Lexington to the ground. They put soldiers in colonists. He just makes a list of all the things the British did. So we have the right to fire you. You're our leader because we said so. If you suck, we can fire you. You suck. You're fired. It's a logical argument. The last square, which is the last bit of note-taking for today, lists for you the impact, the importance of this document. Think about if you're an American, before the Declaration, why would you join the military? For what cause are you fighting? Well, maybe. What I'm suggesting is a lot of people weren't really sure. Like, why do we have an army? What's going on here? What are we trying to accomplish? Now we know. Now we know what this is about. It's about being our own country. We now have a cause. We are no longer mercenaries. We are now fighting for the big idea, America. Yeah. Now, foreign nations know what is going on, and they're going to start helping us. The Americans are actually going to try and break free. Go America. Not because we like you, but because we hate them. The first dent in the British Empire. The first one. Before the American Revolution, the British had never lost anything. As far as colonies. We were the first. Okay. Slaves and women, question mark. There's really nothing in the Declaration about, and slaves shall be freed, or and women shall be equal. Nothing, right? It talks about all men being equal. Now, it is possible that Jefferson meant men and women and slaves. I doubt it. Let's go with the system argument. The prevailing thought at the time was slaves are inferior, women are secondary. So when he says all men, that was the prevailing thought at the time. Okay? And our declaration, this is true, our declaration inspired many other colonies to say, They can do it. We can do it. They wrote their own declaration. Wait till we get to the Vietnam War, and wait till you write what the leader of the Vietnamese wrote as justification for going to war. It looks like ours. It's almost word for word our Declaration of Independence, which is weird because we were fighting against them, right? I mean, honestly, the leader of Vietnam, anyone know his name, by the way? Ho Chi Minh. What he said frequently was, America, why are you fighting us? All we want was what you have. Well, why are you preventing it from happening? That's a story for another day because they were fighting a war of independence and we were fighting a completely different war. And our soldiers were fighting their soldiers. It's like if our football team took on our basketball team in swimming, right? And people didn't know the rules. Like, okay, what do? I have a football. Do I throw it in the pool? And there's a basket over here. And suddenly someone slams it and says, we won. And, the golfers are like, but why are we here? You know what I'm saying? It was like just massive confusion. Vietnam War was massive confusion, but that's a story for another day. Okay. The end. That's it. I'm done. Look at that. Well, no, I have another class at 8:30.
8:30.
9:30. Did I say 8:30?
Yeah.
9:30. 9:30. Okay, so you have time. You have time to do things. Right. Would anyone appreciate if we had the Chromebooks?
Yeah.
Yes, that we want that? Okay, I will. Otherwise, I'll put on a little Mozart.
Relaxing. Yes, it is good. Someone who knows.
Ready? You can do
No, I did.
Yeah, I decided not to. Because I don't want to.
Whatever, it could be anything.
I mean, I said it was anything, but my mom wanted me to. But like,
You
if they
dropped my
offered
phone?
a Saturday test date, I would have.
I'll drop your phone.
Hello. I went to the Ryder Cup when I was here. Got the tab. That's pretty fun. All right, let's check out what's available.
Columbus people are really busy. There's so much work. I haven't even started college there. Oh, that's an alternate. You want, I don't care anymore.
Would anyone like to volunteer to go get Chromebook A?
I was
Yeah.
glad.
Card? Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, but he didn't tell us
I
like what's
think it's
on
in
it.
the library.
So.
Sounds rad.
If not, it's in
Yeah,
Lindy's
but
room.
I'm.
Sounds good.
Chromebook A, card A. Thank you.
I still don't have my synthesis.
I added that like a week ago, and I just said it on the spot. I didn't wait for it.
My whole paper is still not. Honestly.
gonna watch the Cubs lose?
Yep.
They're done.
Wow.
Anyone watch The Voice last night? Like, dude from Rice Lake was on it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's sweet.
That work?
They said if you sign up last minute and call 261, they'll look it for
Good enough.
you.
There, doesn't that make you happy?
Thank you.
Also, does it make you happy?
What is it?
What's that make you go crazy?
You're number one.
Can you have extra documents?
I don't understand anything you're saying.
It's not that.
You would like a hack?
Oh.
I got number 3 and I got number 7.
Remember, so I just gave Hugh this. Your copy is what you may use. Front and back, any space available. This, only this, not the pieces of paper stapled to this, just this.
What if we have two of these copies?
Pick one.
Trying to beat the system. There's no way of beating the system.
Well, I don't
System
know.
always wins.
I don't know. Are we really a victim?
We're not. You have free will.
We have free will.
Argue that. Very
Plus, right, so I was thinking about this too, like, where was the argument that said if it was the system, then why didn't all Europeans accept it? Because there were people who said Columbus was a monster. Including, by the way, the king and queen who removed him as governor. Because he was cruel. No one mentioned that. If it was the system, then why didn't the king and queen go along with it? They kicked him. He died a broke man. Penniless. Because the king and queen removed him.
Well, we said that we removed him.
We didn't do anything. The king and queen did.
Okay, my group that was arguing against the king.
Any other permission slips? It's getting close.
When is it again?
The 7th, so that would be
Monday.
Monday. Or is that Sunday?
It's Sunday.
It's a weird day.
What's me? Wait, so we're going on Sunday.
No. We're going on the 17th. The permission slips are due Sunday. I guess Monday would be fine. The 8th.
My birthday.
We're going on the 17th, October 17th.
17th is a Wednesday.
17th is a Wednesday.
Oh, no. Do you know what time we'll be back?
Before the end of the school day.
Okay.
So right around 3. We sit at Casetas and then I have lunch and then dessert and then coffee.
They're amazing gelatos ice cream.
Yes. That's right. Amazing. Gelato. By the way, it's not gelato ice cream. It's gelato. Well, that's like saying, hey, look at that cake dessert.
Why is it green that?
Just say cake.
I just said gelato.
You said gelato ice cream.
Come on, change it.
Gelato is not ice cream. Gelato is gelato.
Oh, no.
It's richer.
I know, it's
It's
not.
more, it's more fat.
What's your favorite accident?
Yeah,
okay.
what are those desserts they have that are wrapped in cream cheese?
I tried.
They have a crusty thing and the cream
Krusty
cheese. is-
Krab?
Never
What?
press the button.
Krusty Krab.
Yeah, the Krusty Krab. No, it's another dessert they have, but what they do is they mash it up and they put it in the gelato.
I think you're lying.
You gotta get the mango.
I don't have to do anything.
You got a computer but you should. It's amazing. The operating system switched to Arabic somehow.
Arabic.
say Arabic.
They are not Arabs, they're Arabs.
Oh my gosh, they're Arabs. No. I just want to see what. Oh, look at that. And it's all on the wrong side.
They probably drive on the left.
Yeah.
I hate people who drive on the left.
Just tell Mr. Barry to fix that saving them.
Oh my God, I forgot to stop this.
I did not mess up.